In the mountains where the air is crisp and the wind carries secrets long forgotten, there once was a man who came seeking peace. His name was Henry. A traveler from distant lands, Henry arrived, not lost in the landscape around him, but in the turmoil of his own mind. His spirit was burdened by the weight of his thoughts, endless cycles of worries, expectations, and the constant noise of a busy life. The journey he sought was not one of miles, but one of the soul. Yet, like so many, he believed that the answers to his unrest lay somewhere outside himself. He did not realize that the path to peace was not in climbing mountains, but in learning to let go. As Henry approached, the stillness of the moment wrapped around him like a gentle breeze. The sound of the stream, the rustle of leaves. It was as though the world itself had stopped moving. And in that stillness, he felt something stir inside him. The constant chatter of his mind seemed to pause just for a moment. I shared with Henry the lesson passed down to me by my own teacher many years ago. The mind is like water, I told him. When it is turbulent, it is difficult to see. But when it is still, everything becomes clear. Henry was seeking clarity, but his mind was too full, overflowing with thoughts, distractions, and desires. Just as a cup that is already full cannot hold more water, a mind that is full of noise cannot absorb wisdom. As we walked, I spoke to Henry of the greatest mistake we often make, the belief that doing more, thinking more, achieving more will bring us peace. But peace does not come from accumulation. It comes from letting go. We chase success, approval, and control, hoping that once we have enough, the mind will finally rest. But the truth is, the mind will only rest when we stop chasing. The clouds above us, I said, are like the thoughts in your mind. They drift in and out, constantly changing. But do the clouds affect the sky? No, the sky remains unchanged. It is only when we mistake the clouds for the sky that we lose our peace. The same is true for the mind. Thoughts will come and go. You cannot stop them, nor should you try. The key is to let them pass without attachment. Henry sat in silence, taking in the lesson, his breath steadying, his mind beginning to settle. He was no longer fighting the thoughts that came to him, no longer trying to silence the noise. Instead, he simply observed. And in that stillness, something remarkable happened. The thoughts began to lose their power over him. They came and they went, like leaves carried by the wind. In that moment, Henry discovered the space between his thoughts, the quiet that had always been there, waiting for him. As the day turned to dusk, Henry and I sat together, watching the sun dip behind the mountains. There was no need for words. He had found what he came for, not in me, not in the temple, but in himself. The peace he sought had always been within him. It was simply obscured by the clutter of his mind. And now, with that clutter cleared away, he could see the path ahead with new eyes, calm, centered, at peace. Henry left the temple a different man, not because the world around him had changed, but because he had changed. He no longer carried the burden of trying to control everything. He no longer sought to quiet his mind by force. Instead, he learned to simply be, to let go, to surrender to the present moment and trust that peace would follow. Remember this, to empty your mind is not to silence your thoughts, but to free yourself from their grip. It is not about eliminating the clouds in your sky, but about realizing that you are the sky, vast and unchanging, while the clouds are merely passing through. In that realization lies your peace. Take a moment today to pause, breathe, observe your thoughts without judgment, without attachment. Let them pass like clouds in the sky. And in that space, find the peace that has always been within you. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone who may need it. Subscribe to this channel for more stories of ancient wisdom and mindfulness. Let us walk this path together, toward stillness, toward peace.